fulfill their fantasies. Graham Ledger has always wanted to play professional baseball. And today, thanks to the Padres, he had the chance.
He's not doing this.
Tuck that hair in.
You ready for a laugh? Yeah. What do you think?
Look good, man.
We haven't met, I don't think. Graham Ledger?
Graham?
Yeah.
Trevor.
Trevor. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Tony. What about this? Can I use this?
You can't use aluminum.
I can't use this even for beefy?
No.
Oh, come on.
No. You can wear something like this out there
Now I
for
can
bad
hit?
practice.
You can hit in these things?
Yeah.
No. How am I going to dig in? How am I going to dig in?
You don't want to dig in. You want to be light on your feet.
How you doing?
Graham Ledger, Channel 8.
Hey, Graham. How you
They
doing?
warned
About
you I'd
ready?
be here, right?
Yeah. You about ready?
I'm ready to report for duty.
All right, we'll head down
I'll just
there.
stand out there.
Okay.
They can always write me in. Yeah. Right here.
Oh, Mr. Ledger, can we talk to you?
Why, sure. What's your name, son? Here you go, Robert.
Can you send my ball?
Well, you can't go out and get the ball like I'm. You got to let the ball come to you, and then just put your swing in. That's all. That's all hitting is timing.
You know what this is like? This is incredible. This is like the greatest home runs of all time, all wrapped into one. Hit high to right center field, way back, going, in it, gone! There it is, the ball drive, if it stays fair, that was awesome. How bad was I?
Not much power, but good contact.
Not as easy as it looks. Huh?
Hell no!
That's right.
Lucky guy. Tomorrow night, Jody Hammond pedals her way through downtown working as a bicycle messenger.
That was probably the most memorable moment of the Padres since Steve Garvey hit that home run in 1984. Graham taking batting practice ranks right up there with it.
Larry Himmel reminded us of some memories we'd like to forget.
In the mid-'80s, Graham Ledger was doing his best Wayne Newton in El Centro.
Yep. I'm glad Graham shaved his off, but check this out if you want to see something truly revolting. That's yours truly back in 1980. I actually wore that caterpillar under my nose for a year. John Kalia, now clean-shaven in the Channel 8 newsroom.
I also have a green velvet tuxedo, by the way. Up next in sports, Rick has a lot of great college basketball highlights.
You got to that tease very quickly.
Umbrella, but the hood over the head, at least.
There you go.
All right. Okay. And by the way, Donkashane.
Yeah, you know, I had to go into the record store and buy that album. You think you were embarrassed by the look? I had to go buy a Wayne Newton album.
Coming up next on News 8, it's not what you think it is. What it is when we come back.
Fun.
Sinister torture, looks like. That's our news. We'll be back at 11 o'clock. Good night.
You mean is that working weekend?
It's a prop only.
He tells me he was reared in San Francisco. What do you mean by that one, Graham? KFMB radio time is 12:45. Our phone number 570-1776. We'll continue right after this.
I can't believe you.
Larry Hill, believer, right here. You can't believe I said that? Come on. Just provide me the opening. No, oops, let me rephrase that.
That would give us a fussy look here.
It used to be so simple.
This is one of the nicest evenings of my whole life.
Tango? To tango in the 90s is to often dance with death.
Then you have tests, and then you get to do it with a condom.
It's like a circus. You can be a ringmaster, Or you could be one of the performers.
For Leslie, the single scene is sometimes like playing the lead role in a comedy.
Were you ever married?
Other times, it's more like a horror movie.
I look at a woman very often, whether she's alone or even with another man. It's a piece of meat. Let me see if I can conquer.
I hope I score. Oh, boy.
Running around single, it's been very difficult.
Elsa is looking for Mr. Right.
I'd make a good husband.
But what's left in San Diego is often all wrong.
Generally, I'm like 3 dates and then it's next, because then I've known all the stuff I don't want to know.
Why don't you love me, Jenny?
Getting rid of baggage or, you know, just a lot of junk, as I call it.
Are you looking for that right person?
Oh, yeah, anybody's looking for the right person, you know.
You have much luck?
No, not yet.
Tom is one of thousands of single San Diegans breaking tradition, using a service, club, or in this case, a weekly party to date in the 90s.
I mean, people go out of here exchanging numbers left and right. So I know people going out on dates. So whether they're falling in love, quite a few people have. I mean, there's no question about it.
That was very romantic.
Personal ads, computer dating, video dating. Is that what courting in the 90s has come to? Where's the romance? Where's the love? Well, experts say it's still there. It's just that single men and women have to search for it.
It isn't about, you know, who you can attract into your life. It's about you being attractive to yourself.
The ladies just don't like me.
I want somebody who's genuinely interested in building a relationship.
Would you like to learn to tango?
It's not become a pain or a drag because it's a new challenge, and because I'm always thinking he's out there somewhere. I mean, sometime I'm going to find him, you know, one who's a real man.
Hello?
Hi. That beloved partner will come into your life and you'll know it. You'll feel it. You will open up to it.
So there is hope.
There is always hope.
I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
In essence, I guess I have to kiss a lot of frogs before I get to my prince.
Dating can produce a Prince Charming, even in the 90s.
We will live happily ever after.
Oh, there was a cute one over there.
Say no disco.
I'm not out to give my number or get numbers.
Ain't no country club either.
This is a way for me to expose myself.
There's a lot of people out there with baggage.
Hit it.
If bars on a Friday night are meat markets for daters, then Kiva is a virtual slaughterhouse.
Tonight was a spontaneous kind of happy hour thing.
Do some shots for Keelan, just head on over to the Kiva.
Sexual spontaneity is still very much part of dating in the 90s.
When I was 18, the biggest thing you worried about was getting somebody pregnant. Now it's, are you going to catch something and die?
The sexual nature of the people out there, basically flaunting themselves, and it would give you that impression that they aren't really too concerned about the ramifications.
The best thing about dating, you get to do fun, exciting things with different people, meet new people.
Worst thing about dating?
When someone doesn't call.
Some 800,000 San Diegans are not married, 1/4 of the population single. Question is, do local men and women like it that way?
The women I know want to stand off at first, get to know somebody in a relationship, and then 3 months down the line, they're about ready to commit more to the relationship.
They're so afraid that they're going to lose their own identity by getting into a relationship with somebody.
Is it hard to meet good men?
Well, I've met one.
In how many years?
In the 2 years that I've been out there.
Not enough good, dateable men in San Diego? Well, at least there's more of them. According to the latest numbers, there's 1/3 more single men than single women in San Diego. The women say the trick is to weed out the winners from the losers.
Ask all your friends what they say about them. If you know anyone that knows that person, find out what their input is.
Check references.
Yeah, check references.
You have to do an initial interview with the person before you get to know him, and sometimes you don't see the truth in him up front.
Patience, more than ever, is crucial for dating in the 90s.
Nature will come along and, you know, take someone away from you or intervene because it really isn't the right time for you to be with that person.
But all I wanna do is have some fun.
The most I can get out of it is a wonderful husband.
Do you hope that this ends soon, the dating scene for you?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I'd rather be with one person.
Is Mr. Right out there?
Definitely. There's a lot of Mr. Rights out there.
In other words, there's still plenty of romance, plenty of fun. Graham Ledger, News 8.
Graham Ledger is here to update us on these unsolved San Diego crimes. Graham.
That's right, Susan and Sandra. Typically, San Diego police solve about 60% of all murder cases committed during a given year. However, the last few years have not been typical. 1993 saw only about 40% solved. One of the 60% unsolved includes 2 kids. They are among a string of children murdered over the past few years. They are cases that were well publicized, but to date remain unsolved.
Anybody that has any information, I'm just begging them to please, you know, end at least this part of my nightmare.
I need to know what Charlie said, his last words, what they were. You know, I need to know that.
Why can't I know?
We don't know nothing, you know. I need some answers, you know. I need some answers.
The questions outnumber the answers.
You remain hopeful, but the fact is, as time goes on, there's less of a chance that you'll solve the case?
That's the general rule in any homicide. The longer it goes unsolved, the less likely you are to solve it.
It was March of 1993 in South San Diego. 9-year-old Jonathan Sellers and 13-year-old Charlie Keever were out riding their bikes.
I don't know, I just feel that he's here.
Here is where the boys were found, molested and murdered.
I just need to know why he did it.
Anything new?
No, we're still getting information, comes in trickles.
I cannot live. I know a lot of people tell me, give it up, but I can't.
April 1992 in Santee, 15-year-old Kristen Gray, studying in her mobile home, is murdered.
I know we'll find the person. I know we will.
The case of Kristen Gray stands alone. Unlike the others, Kristen was not abducted, she was not robbed, she was simply viciously stabbed to death. No witnesses in a trailer park of more than 200 homes. To date, no suspects either.
I think maybe it was somebody that she knew.
Why is
or
that?
Trusted. Because they say there's no forced entry.
October 1991 in North Park.
There isn't a day that doesn't go by I don't think of her or, you know, think about where this person is, who they are, and if they're going to find them.
The person who killed 9-year-old Amanda Gakey, the person who dumped her naked body in an empty lot.
I think it's somebody in that neighborhood. I don't think it was somebody that came out of another neighborhood and decided they were going to do this crime here and then take off.
June 1991 in Chula Vista.
What did you see up here on the billboard?
I used to see my little girl.
His 9-year-old little girl, Laura Arroyo, murdered, and whose image hundreds say they saw here days later on a South Bay billboard.
I think, you know, she wanna say something, you know, to us.
The kid cases, you don't forget about them. They stay with you.
You know, I go out and I laugh and I do things, but inside of me, it's almost like my heart is screaming all the time.
I get sentimental when I think of things about her that I love.
If somebody knows something about the case, you know, please call the police. We can use the help.
I know somebody saw something. Somebody saw the guy who killed these boys.
If he killed once, he will kill again.
He will kill again. 4 words which terrify parents and frustrate police. So what can we do to help, if anything? Well, if you know anything, something about any of these or other murder cases, call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 235-TIPS, 235-TIPS, or for that matter, you can call me here at Channel 8 and I'll forward the information to the proper authorities, whether it's San Diego Police or the San Diego County Sheriff's Department.
It just breaks your heart to hear those parents.
It does.
Are there any leads at all?
Well,
in any of the cases?
Here and there they have some trickling in, nothing that really is breaking any of these cases wide open. Otherwise, we're telling you that right now. But the good news is, whenever the media airs a story such as this, it jogs some memories, and some cases, hopefully, will be solved because of that.
Maybe some new tips will come in.
Yeah.
When we come back, we are going to lighten the mood considerably. We are going to talk about weddings.
I'll look at the best.
The video has been all over the airwaves. You've probably seen it, the last few seconds of Navy Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen's fatal flight. News 8's Graham Ledger is in the newsroom with analysis of what happened from a former Navy pilot. Graham?
That's right, Denise. Most of us have seen the video by now, but what does it really show us? Well, for an answer, it takes a trained eye, the eye of a former Navy pilot, one who did not fly F-14s, but who landed other Navy jets hundreds of times aboard carriers. In fact, a former Navy lieutenant who trained F-14 pilots to land on moving ships.
103, Tomcat ball, hold green. Roger ball.
At first, it looked clean. 8 seconds later, the order to wave off, abort the landing.
Wave off, wave off, wave off. Wave off, power, raise your gear, power. Eject, eject!
She was fully qualified.
It's the official Navy conclusion. Engine failure caused Lieutenant Kara Hultgreen to crash.
It's hard to tell where she lost, where the engine did indeed fail, and where it did fail would dictate how much time she had to initiate the procedures that you're trained to.
Cap Hagler is a former LSO, landing signal officer, who trained pilots to land aboard aircraft carriers.
And now the wave-off lights come on, so there's something, they have seen something being out there.
Wave off, wave off, wave off.
Now she's passing back through center line. At this point, I would doubt if she has any thought at all about trying to land on the ship. I think she's fighting for control of the airplane.
Power, raise your gear.
You hear them trying to get her to raise her landing gear, which would reduce the drag on the airplane, give it every chance in the world to keep flying.
Question is, could or should the pilot have kept flying?
That would be pure supposition to determine whether anybody else could or not.
The bottom line is that when she rolled wings level, she was between a rock and a hard place with a failed motor like that.
An F-14 can, A, fly with one engine, and B, land with one.
Absolutely. You train to single engines. It's something that it's in Navy flight training, you train to it all the time. And where it happened to her is the worst possible place it could have happened.
Power, eject, eject!
To fly away from something like that, you'd have to be at your very best. There's no telling if anyone could have done any better.
Okay, so what do we conclude? According to Cap Hagler, it would have been tough for anyone, man or woman, to land or fly that F-14 in those circumstances. He does say one thing, though. There are a lot of Navy planes at the bottom of the ocean, and the Navy never went to the trouble to raise those from their watery graves. Why this one, Denise?
Graham, another question. Have we heard any word from the radar intercept officer in this case?
He's the one that got out safely. His story would be very interesting to hear, to say the least, wouldn't it? But officially, he has not gone on the record, publicly anyway. What a lot of Navy people are saying behind the scenes is that if the Navy was indeed fast-tracking the women in this program, not only would it be unfair to the men in the program, but they would be held liable in a case like this. So what some Navy people are saying behind the scenes is this, that the Navy was going to come up with this conclusion no matter what.
All right, Graham. Thanks very much for your report.
2 hours of searching by the Coast Guard.
Except for this, increased by 2. Except for this frat house, Lambda Chi Alpha, which was shut down May 1st for a whole host of reasons and won't be allowed to reopen until 1999. Graham Ledger, News 8, SDSU.
Remember the movie Animal House?
Hello?
Welcome to Lambda Chi Alpha at SDSU.
New meaning to the word rec room. No glass there.
The brothers had their charter revoked by the national chapter and were told to get out. They didn't.
What happened to the windows?
People just threw things through and broke them. I mean, as you can see, if you go in the bathroom, we just lost that one last night.
Even pigs don't have styes like this.
That's an open socket. I mean, you don't want to touch something like that. That's pretty dangerous. That's tough to live like that.
If stuff like that happened before, we just throw the power breakers.
The university does not approve or disapprove of off-campus student housing.
This was our sorority room. This is the. We used to have a pool table right here.
The national chapter owns the property, but cannot force the brothers to leave because of renters' rights.
How can you live like this? I mean, this is pretty. This is like rats.
There's no rats or insects or anything else. Right? I just go from my room to the bathroom.
Room to the bathroom, room to the bathroom. That's it.
To school.
So who is responsible for allowing them to live like that?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by allowing them to live like.
They're living like rats.
The owner of the property again is the Lambda Chi Alpha House Corporation.
They know about it and they're just turning their heads probably. I mean, they're in a situation just like we are.
The brothers say they will leave after finals.
I'm glad that we went out like men, you know, and just...
Men who are living like animals by choice. Graham Ledger, News 8, SDSU.
There's my Nebraska chairman right there. How are you? Nice to see you. No more questions. I got to pay. Thanks.
Nice to meet you. Graham Ledger, Channel 8.
All right, good to see you.
Ever get a chance?
All right, I appreciate it.
Give me a holler.
I'll do it.
What do you think of that Time magazine spread?
I like Newsweek this week better. Spread is right. Yeah. Spread me all over the place. No more questions. I got to pay. Thanks.
Nice to meet you. Graham Ledger, Channel 8.
All right, good to see you.
Ever get a chance?
All right, I appreciate it.
Give me a holler.
I'll do it.
What do you think of that Time magazine spread?
I like Newsweek this week better. Spread is right. Yeah. Spread me all over the place.